Okay, we're up and running. So welcome in everyone. It's Tier 3 Blue, round 4 at Croix. Just do a quick sound check, make sure everything's working. Yeah, everything sounds alright. So, we are good to go with sprint race, the sprint race. So, quick run through the grid. We've got Fancy Locks on pole in the Ford GT, which is quite impressive. It's quite an open track. Does suit the Ford GT a little bit. Good evening, Ellie. We've got Hurricane in second, so that's a much better qualifying than at least the last round. It was down, I think, outside the top 10, so up to second. Great qualifying for Hurricane. And Fossey as well in third. It's a really strong qualifying. He's been sort of around the bottom end of the top 10, just missing out in the last few sprints, alongside his teammate Hennes with another good qualifying. So good, must be a good track for the Honda, good acceleration. And we've got Ross in fifth in the Audi. He is a new championship leader after the last round. Still without a win this season though. So just doing it really based on consistency. Then we've got Skycloud in sixth, and all the top six are in MR cars, which is a little surprising. Although they are quite good after the last update. Didn't expect this to be a track they'd dominate on. Then we've got Marty down in 7th, Arfaxad in 8th, Ellie in 9th in the 4GT. So again, struggling in qualifying compared to Fancy Locks. But maybe they'll be able to come through in the feature race. Then we've got Zab in 10th, Filthy in 11th, Morrison in 12th, which is pretty good in the Mazda. I think he was at the back in his first race. So that's definitely an improvement. Then we've got Kanata in 13th. Again, struggling with the Supra. Got Dougal, probably just going to start calling him Dougal now, to be honest. Also Stay Frosty, but Dougal down in 14th, ahead of both the BMWs, which is surprising. Goodmad was on pole and dominated the sprint last week. Rotkar's missed last week, but I would have expected a lot better than 16th. I'm not sure if he just never got a lap in, a clean lap, or picked up a penalty every lap. But yeah, I would expect him to come through to at least inside the top 10 and then maybe get reverse grid pole or a decent starting position in the feature race. But let's go on board with Fossey, because let's go on board with Hurricane. Fossey is probably going to Rotka's missed qualifying, that makes sense. Well, that is a rough one. Although it's not a bad track for overtaking, plenty wide enough to get moves done and such. So I do think he's going to get into the top 10 then, because I'd be surprised if his pace is down in 16th. But yeah, well, let's go on board. We'll go on with Hurricane for the start. Got 4 red lights, 5 red lights, and we are off. And let's watch both the Hondas fly past everyone. Ooh, Hennes gets a little bit wrong-footed by Hurricane there. But Fossey does manage to go into the lead. Hurricane manages to overtake the Ford and get into second. Does hold it for now, but he looks like he might have gone a little bit wide. No, Fancy pulls in behind him. I'm sure Hennes in the slipstream of Hurricane. Looks like he's moving up into the podium positions. Is he going to go for the move on Hurricane? He's not, but he is going to consolidate the position over Fancy. Ross holding his position in 5th, and Skycloud in 6th. So top 8 have pretty much held position. The two Hondas making a bit of progress. Fancy really lost out on that first corner. So it'll be interesting to see when we get to the back straight if the Ford can just blast past the Honda or the Audi in front. But Fossey's actually making a bit of a gap now ahead of Hurricane. So it's really strong showing from Fossey. Hennes is coming around the outside of Hurricane. Hurricane maybe dipping a wheel onto the gravel on the exit there. Ooh. Looks like, I'm not sure if he was forced out of room there. But that's cost Hennes a lot. He's down to 6th. Can he stabilise in 6th? No, he's going to lose one more to Marty. Yeah, does lose that position to Marty. And he might even lose the one to Arfaxad going deep there. Arfaxad got the inside, should be able to hold this around here. And can Henners regroup into 8th and hold it? No, still the dirty tyres costing him. He's down to 9th now, so really low down at the bottom of the top 10. And who was that? I think that was... Let's go back. Was that BMW's coming together there? No, they're separated. So Roscoe's up into 11th from 16th, so that's a great start from Roscoe's. Carries too much speed into there, goes all the way off onto the gravel and then loses it coming back on. His team actually did the same thing. He just went off separately behind him. So that's cost Roscoe's a lot of positions they gained off the line there. Oh, the Hurricane going too deep in the chicane. Fancy getting wrong-footed a little bit, couldn't take advantage. Looked like Ross was doing the same in the background. And actually Marty's gone up to 4th in all that, so let's just go back a bit. So Marty's up to 6th. Got Skycloud. I wonder if Skycloud was going for the move there. But they just basically wrong-foot each other. Marty goes straight through and up to 4th place. Now Avaxad looking to make some progress as well. Does get past both of them as well. So Skycloud down to 8th now. And Ellie looking to make the move. They're going to go down the inside and going 3 wide into there. It's tricky. We've all managed to make it around just about. Ooh. Yeah, that wall there's a bit tricky. You've got to come back on the track somewhere. Luckily he didn't pick up damage, but he's lost a lot of positions down to 11th now. We've got Sab going side by side with Henners. Henners does have the inside, but if Sab can hold it around the outside, he'll have the inside for the next one. Does squeezes him out a little bit. Nothing wrong with that, I don't think. And he's up to 9th. Okay, this is going to be chaos. 3 wide into here. So we've got Dougal on the inside. Skycloud actually managed to hold it all the way around the outside of both of them. And that's cost Henners a lot, down to 12th now. This is going to be costly for the championship run, because he has been really strong up until now, and then just a couple of incidents in this first lap and he's down to 12th already. Now Roscoe's still up in 14th, but he's close up onto the back of Kanata now. Oh, and that was Dougal. Let's see what happened to Dougal there. Let's go with the onboard just to make sure we don't miss it. Okay, so looks fine. Gets a little bit of a tap from Henners, but just loses it on his own. Just got a bit sideways on the grass and then just couldn't save it at the end. Ended up getting some damage into the wall, so that is going to be put him a decent chunk off the back, and he's got a 1 second penalty when he comes around to the just before the start finish next lap. Okay, so let's just jump back to the front. So we've got Fossey with a huge lead now in 1 lap. So that's probably 2 seconds. Still on from Hurricane, so the Hurricane on for a good position. Marty's actually up to 3rd, so something has happened to Fancy in all this. Oh, looks like they somehow managed to save that. How did you save that? I think he dropped an outside wheel before on the run to turn the last corner. Yep. Nicely saved though, because that would have probably put them at the back of the field, honestly, if they hadn't saved that. And then they're just going to pull in behind Ross. Yeah, he definitely is a DK at heart. We've got some more carnage happening here. This is very chaotic. So Marty's covering off the inside. Avaxar going to the outside. Marty brakes a little bit later and Avaxar just turns in a bit too early really there. But it allows Ross up to 4th, so Ross got a chance at another podium. She again is just doing great with the consistency this season. And we've got Fancy maybe making a position back up into 5th. Does get there, yeah, pulls across in front just a little bit. Are they going to defend this corner? No. Just sticking to the racing line. Now, will Fancy be able to pull away? They qualified on pole, so they should have the pace. And it's still not out of the question to get a podium in this race. Yeah, and they're already pulling a little bit of a gap, so they're not under threat from behind anymore, and they are closing into Ross. So this is going to be important for Fancy to see if they can get back onto the podium. After starting from pole, would have been hoping for at least the podium. Ooh, Arfaxad going wide onto the gravel and the grass. Is that going to cost him position to his teammate? It looks like it hasn't, actually. I'm surprised that didn't cost him more than that. But I think we're going 3 wide almost, not 2 wide. Can they hold it around the outside? Just about, but it's going to compromise the run, and Skycloud's possibly going to go around the outside and get this position. Well, he's still on the inside. Does Skycloud get the better exit? Looks like she does. Yeah, Skycloud gets the position. Does she hold it inside the track limits? Yeah, doesn't have to dodge the wall this time. Henna's up to 12th, up to 10th, sorry. 9th now, past Ellie. So that NSX acceleration really helping him out here. Does he go off the move on Skycloud as well? A little bit, but backs out of it. So quite a long way back there. So Henna's going to be looking to make more progress in this. Qualified 4th, was fighting for 2nd at the start. Doesn't look like he's going for the move here. But Skycloud with a little bit of compromise line on the inside. Henna's getting a really nice run. Skycloud doesn't really defend, but Henna's ended up going to the outside. So he's just going to brake late and try and hold it all the way around the outside. Looks like that's what he's trying to do. Doesn't quite make it work. Pulls in behind, still really close into the slipstream. Can go for another move into turn 1. Goes to the outside again. And looks like he's possibly just losing out there as well. Yeah, he does. Skako going really wide there. Does give him the inside for this corner, but it goes a little bit too deep there. And gets a little bit of an incident with a teammate. Probably not too happy about that. Does manage to hold on to 9th though. Ooh, it's a little bit of a hit from Kanata there. I think, was that Kanata backing off? Yes, it was. Let's make sure he didn't gain the position that way. That is going to allow Zab through. So both the Lambos into the top 10 now, but they're immediately coming under threat from Ellie, who goes down the inside of 1, up into the top 10. And we've got Zab fighting to stay ahead of Kanata. Looks like he's got it. Then we've got Kanata, Gunmad, Morrison, and Orotka's having a bit of a nightmare in this one. Obviously misqualifying, and he's down in 15th. That's where he had some kind of mistake somewhere again. So that's going to really make it hard to get into the top 10 for the reverse grid. So we might be starting low down in both races. We've got these guys Kanata trying to go around the outside. It's a risky move there. Managed to keep it within track limits though. But Zab does hold on to the position. But it does allow Gunmad to come alongside on the outside. The inside is where you want to be for that corner. And Kanata does manage to hold it. Ooh, Gunmad going off onto the dirt. Doesn't really cost him too much. Morrison not close enough to profit from that, but goes wide. Is that going to allow Roscoe's through pretty easily? Yeah. So Roscoe's up to 14th. Still got a lot of work to get into the top 10. Which Ellie is starting to pull away from the cars behind now, so it'd be nice to build a little bit of a gap. If she's not under threat for that. Let's have a look up the field, see what's changed. Fancy's still in 6th, Arfaxad in 5th. So Fancy's actually dropped back a position behind Arfaxad. So struggling a little bit to keep consistent in the race after getting pole. And looks like Marty's pretty close to Hurricane. And he's in the slipstream. He's going to go for the move into turn 1 on the inside. No, Hurricane covers it off. Marty's actually holding it all the way around the outside. He's just going to give him the inside for the next corner if he even needs it, because he looks like all the way through already. Tyres are holding on fine, which you would expect in the sprint race. He did have problems last week at Watkins Glen with them. Now, can he go after Fossey? Because he looks like he's got some good pace, and Fossey's not too far out of reach. It would be a big ask, I would say, to get there. And Fossey's looked a lot stronger this week than he has any of the previous weeks. So it'll be great for his confidence to get a win and start some good results coming in. Does currently have the fastest lap as well. Now we've got the Flying Grapes 3rd and 4th, so that's doing good stuff for the constructors for him as well. See if we've got anyone going for a move further back. Everyone's kind of spread out at the moment. Henners is kind of close to Filthy, so let's just stick with this for a little bit. Because Henners we know has good pace, qualified 4th, got shuffled out by going off onto the gravel on lap 1. It's cost him a lot of positions. Doesn't look like he got a great run out of there. Maybe went a little too deep and had to release when he got onto the straight, which has cost you quite a bit of time. And he is one of our championship contenders, I would say. I can't remember exactly what position he's in, but he is up there. He's been pretty consistent. Sometimes in some of the races he's been involved in a couple of incidents. I know he's picked up a couple of penalties which have cost him some time. Not sure if they cost him any positions in the end. And he's been on the wrong side of some incidents himself, like in this race, where his pace is better than what the position he's actually got is. Let's just drop right on the Skyco going deep into there. You're really going to be able to get the run through there? Not really close enough. Erotico's up to 12th now. It'll still be a big ask to get any higher because there's quite a big gap in front of him. But you never know, someone could pick up a penalty or just have an accident if people are not that familiar with this layout. So we've got Henners right onto the back of Filthy now. And he's going for the move on the inside. Filthy's not defending. Possibly thinking for the long game just to be in front for the reverse grid. You would think he would defend that, although he's fighting back now, or sticking in the slipstream at least. Henner's not leaving any room there for him to go to the inside, although he moves back to the racing line. But I would expect Henners to pull away now. We've got a three-way battle up ahead, actually. So it was a bad lap from Ross. Lost a couple of seconds to the guys behind, possibly a penalty. And this is kind of killed his chance of the podium, and he's put him under threat from at least our backside, which is probably one of his title rivals. Fancy, I'm not sure where they are in the standings. I know they've had about one bad race where they were quite a way off the back, but they have qualified on pole, I think, twice now. So they've got the pace, just not the consistency in the race. Croix looks like he's stabilised a little bit now. He's not immediately under threat from our backside. Let's have a check about the fronts. Looking pretty stable. Hurricane's not dropped far away from Marty though. And that front tyre has died a lot in the last lap. Fossey with the better tyres as well, and the better pace. Still got the fastest lap. Yeah, Ross is well and truly broken away from the guys behind. Actually, Henna's coming under threat from Filthy. Henna's covering off the inside. She's definitely where I'd want to be. But Filthy actually manages to go around the outside. Really nice move there from Filthy. Brave on the brakes on the outside. Yeah, covers the inside now. His final lap does not want to give up that position. Henna's actually going all the way around the outside again. So it's a great battle for these two. And the Arvaxad and Fancy in front are fighting as well. Yeah, the Ford is not good after standing starts. Kind of similar to the Porsche in that way. So, we've got Arvaxad and Fancy. Fancy can they hold it around the outside there? They're trying it. But McLaren gets the better run. Is that going to put him under threat from Henna's? It looks like it's pulling alongside. Fancy actually has the better tyres, I think, so may be able to hold this. Ooh, they're both going a bit wide though. But Henna still holds it there and has got the inside for this corner and does manage to get through. Goes a little bit onto the grass, but it doesn't look like it cost him too much on the exit. And it's actually Fancy that's coming under threat from Filthy a little bit. Is Filthy going to send it? No, Filthy doesn't send it there. We'll jump up to the leader because we got Fossey. He takes his first win of the season. Probably his first podium as well, I think. Ross being consistent in fourth. So another good result. We've got Arvaxad, Henna's. Fancy does hold on ahead of Filthy. Ellie gets into ninth. And Roscoe's does manage to get into 10th, so that's massive for him. That was a bad one. A bad last lap for Zab. Lost a couple of seconds there. So that's going to make a big impact on his race. And Gunmad is spinning across the line. Let's go, let's go. Oh, let's get back to where we were before. Somebody was spinning. We missed Skyfly's spin. But what happened there? Didn't look like you were on anything. So rear tyre's not looking too bad. Ah, put the grass on the inside. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And that's going to cost, that's cost a lot. Because she's dropped outside of the top 10. And is going to cost a position to Morrison. It looks like it will by the time they get to the last corner. So that's going to drop down to 14th. So that's a really costly spin there for Skycloud. Yeah, never touch grass. It's not a good idea. We're gamers. We're not built for it. Although you managed to save it really well. Like, I do not know how you managed to save that spin. But yeah, it's great news for our Otakos. Feature race pole is going to make a huge difference to his possible championship run. Okay. Ellie, is the replay up? Circuit A. Search. I'm guessing not yet. Okay, it is up. So what are the tags? I'm just going to put it together anyway. Nope. We can just do it this way. Hold on. Whose replay have I missed? Okay. There it is. How did I miss that? I was uploaded now. I was uploading now. We'll use this one. So yeah, Erotica's on pole. So he's got a chance of getting a good result. We don't really know what his pace is like because he didn't do qualifying. Okay, let's have a quick run through. There are a few different strategies people can do. So we've got mediums for everyone, Morrison on the hards, and Gunmad on the softs. So 2-stop, maybe for Gunmad. But it's interesting going on them early from the start. But I did make it work with the BRZ a few times if you can really make your way through the pack. Pit, come out something clean air, and get some good laps in. It could work. And then we've got Morrison on the hards. So that's probably committing to the 1-stop hard medium, I would guess. Be interesting to see if anybody goes for the 2-stop. Because Gunmad doesn't even have to go for the 2-stop. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on when people start coming into the pits. But we've got Erotica's on pole from Ellie and Filthy, the top 3. Now, will Erotica's be able to pull away and just dominate this feature race? You would expect it. He's one of the championship favourites. And he's in one of the best cars. But he did not get a great run out of there. And it's put Ellie right onto the back of him. Does go for the move. Erotica's leaves space. It was a bit twitchy there. Does hold the position though. And everyone's kind of single file for now. Is anybody going for a move? Not really. Fancy Lux was defending from Hennes there a little bit. Does that put them on the back foot into the next corner? Not really. Oh, bit of slide from Ellie. Is that going to allow Filthy to go through? Oh, what happened to Erotica's? What happened to Erotica's? Gus goes wide there. Maybe the dirty tire's making him go wide again. Just goes way too wide there, and he's thrown away his lead. Well, that's a disaster. Down to 3rd, 4th, may even be 5th by the time he gets to the corner. Oh, Erotica's going really late on the brakes there. He manages not to hit anyone, kind of impressive. Looks like he's just about held it in 4th, going for 3rd though. He doesn't quite get it. But that is a very costly error from Erotica's. First lap mistakes can cost a lot of position. It's going wide again, and that's Arfaxad somehow saving that as well. Both going wide onto the gravel, but that's Erotica's behind both the Audis, and not Fossey, it's Hennes that's come through ahead of them. So that's Erotica's down to 7th from 1st. And he just needs to be careful now. Was that breaking the track limits? He's getting 1 from Hurricane going wide. Yeah, half a second. It looked like he'd just gone over the curb, which is the track limit for that corner. But this is just a nightmare start for Erotica's. Like even a half a second penalty, still on lap 1. The cars are all close behind. That could cost him another 2 positions possibly. So an absolute nightmare for Erotica's. Up ahead, we've got Hennes trying to go for the move on Ross. Ross has made some good progress up to 4th already. But he is coming under threat. Hennes going for the move. And it looks like he's got it done nicely there. And he's immediately going for the move on Filthy. It's an amazing run out of there. They are both on medium tyres, so Hennes is just absolutely going for it at the moment. Making some great progress. We've actually got a Ford 1-2 at the moment. Ellie pulling a nice little lead over their teammate. Fancy who's holding 2nd. Hennes on an absolute charge, up to 3rd at the moment. Let's have a look. Erotica's, yeah, did cost him 2 positions, I think, that penalty. He's down to 8th now. So all that work to get into the top 10 in the feature race is pretty much undone. And coming under threat from Fossey, who's our race winner in the sprint. Is he going to go for the move? It looks like he sent it down the inside. And he's got that move, so Rotko's down to 9th, and that's Marty coming alongside it as well now. It's an absolute disaster for Rotko's. Does manage to hold the position, but can Marty get the switch back? Oh no, does manage to save it though. That could have been a lot worse. If he clipped that barrier, that was almost guaranteed at least a 360 spin and some damage. Not going to be doing his rear tyres any favours with that though. Okay, Rotko's got a bit of a gap behind. He just needs to stay calm and regroup. And he's with a massive slide there. Just needs to calm down and settle into a rhythm. He's made plenty of mistakes on this. Well, on the first lap and still on the second lap now. Still twitchy. That's Fossey actually going for the move on Zab, or looking like he was going to. And he is, just down the inside. Doesn't manage to get the position though, and does end up losing the position to Roscoe actually. Who's going wide again. Can he get it? He does manage to get it turned and out, not going to the gravel this time. But I think Fossey has got the slipstream from Zab. Looks like it. So will Fossey be able to cover off this move into the chicane? Yeah, they had pulled ahead really late on the brakes there. Ooh, going a bit wide. Looks like got a little bit of tap. Is that going to be a penalty? Yeah, half-second penalty, same as what Rotko's had. So that's going to be an expensive one as well, because the cars behind are really close there. Now, if I was Rotko's, I'd just sit behind and wait until the penalty zone, because half a second is guaranteeing that position anyway. And basically just bump draft him down here, trying to gain as much as you can. Looks like he's not really thinking about it, just pulling out a little bit. Maybe to check his braking marker and stuff like that. Because it can be difficult depending on what camera you run with, whether you can see all your braking markers when you're right up behind another car. Well, he's trying to go all the way around the outside here, so going for the move beforehand. You should have this pretty easily now. Pull it down to the apex. Don't go wide yet. And this is going to cost Fossey probably only one position to Marty, I would say. Yeah, it's probably only going to cost one position. Now we've got Zab and Filthy going side by side. I think that's Zab going past Filthy, or trying to. Still got the inside for the next corner. Pretty even on the straights, the Lambo and the McLaren. So who's going to hold it? It looks like Filthy's actually going to get the better run around the outside and hold on to this position. Now that side by side through turn 1 has allowed the Roscos onto the back of them. So can Roscos start to try and move back forward now? If he's can get his... Ooh, not really, he's coming under threat from Marty now. And through, but on the outside. Roscoe's probably going to hold it on the inside. Goes way too deep again. It's just absolute disaster. This really is a disaster for Roscoe's. Make sure not to unsafe rejoin, which is nice. But it looked like he went off again. So he's down to 12. Is he going to drop any further than that? Because he's going to have 30 tyres now as well. Does go a little bit wide again, and Kanata spawn. I think that was probably Gunmad going into Kanata there, because he's waiting on the track for him. So let's just have a look at this. His soft tyres, pretty worn. Just going to brake too late. Tried to carry too much speed, yeah, and Kanata was just there in the way. But this is dangerous. Don't just stop on the racing line, because luckily he's ghosted. That has ruined Gunmad and Kanata's race there. But we've got both the Mazdas. Morrison you'd expect to be at the back now because he's on the hard tyres, so he's getting that pain out of the way early. Garocco's all the way down to 12th, which is an absolute disaster. I've said it plenty of times, but that's exactly what it is. Let's go back up to the front. So Ellie's still got a decent lead, but it's now over Henner's instead of their teammate. So Henner's really charging forward and just pulled away from Fancy quite a bit on this lap. Fancy having a slide there. Is that going to bring them under threat from Ross? Maybe not, but it's put Ross right onto the back of him. And Ross just sitting comfortably in fourth. Another consistent result. Which is kind of similar to how his McLaren season went, except he was consistently winning those races off 1-2s with his teammate every race. But he will probably be wanting a win if he wants to get himself, but he could just win the championship if he wants to get into the race of champions. But a race win is the way to do it without winning the championship, or to guarantee it. And I would say he's got a chance at this race still. Don't know what strategy he's going for, but Henner's looks to be absolutely flying at the moment, which I think he's going to be. Henner's and Ellie, his competitors for the win in this one at the moment, just based on how this is going. But honestly, Henner's is absolutely flying. Fastest lap at the moment. Not fun being haunted by the two floating grapes. I can imagine. That Audi is surprisingly good. I don't think people realised how good it was until this season started. And it's going to get its top, I think it's top 3, or it's top 5 cars in the top 3 tiers. Ford GT, not so much. But you've been doing well in it. I mean, a couple of pole positions, I think, now. At least one on this race. And you're still holding on to that podium position for now. Tyre wear's about the same. Ross actually used a little bit more fuel than Fancy, so I'm guessing Fancy's fuel saving, because that Ford is a bit thirsty. Let's compare it to, yeah, Ellie's got considerably less fuel, and Henner's right on the back of Ellie now. So Henner's still absolutely flying and marching through the field. So is Henner's going to just get into the lead and waltz off into the distance? Ellie caught a little bit of gravel there. He's going to just give Henner's an even better run on them, but he's stuck on the outside, so unless he can get through before they actually get to the corner, it's hard to make it work around the outside there. Does he launch it down the inside? He does. But Ellie managed to hold it around the outside. Nice defending there. Henner's not really close enough to send it on there. Ellie goes a little bit wide. Henner's can get a really good run out of here and get to the inside. Or it can go to the outside and try and send it around, all the way around the outside for the second part of the chicane. But it looks like he's trying to squeeze it all the way to the inside, and he's going for the move. Does get it stopped. And looks like he's going to get that position. They were both a bit twitchy on the exit there. Oh, Fancy having a massive slide has cost both positions to the Audis. And Henner's does get off into the lead and is pulling away already. And the actual Audis are actually having their own little fight. And was that Hurricane going past Ross there? It's going around the outside of Ross. So nice move from Hurricane there. So it's going to be another really strong result for the Flying Grapes as a team. They're already leading the Constructors' Championship. And this is going to be another massive result if they can hold on to these positions. Let's see if Ellie can make some sort of response against the Honda. Because Henner's did close up relatively quickly. tyre wear is fairly similar. Ford does have better rear tyres, but they both use the same amount of fuel, which is considerably less than Fancy, who must be fuel saving quite a bit to have that much of a fuel advantage. And Ross compared to Hurricane as well. So Ross might just get that position back in the pits. So let's see, Gunmad has already pit. So pit on lap 3. So lap 3 off of the soft. So if he's going to do 7 laps on the mediums, then he can do another 3 laps on the end on softs. But he's a long way down now after having that incident with Kanata, who's still going up in 14th, closed up onto the back of Morrison, still getting those hard tyres out of the way. Now just dropped off from his teammate, which you would expect. Dougal not too far away from Roscoe's here, but Roscoe's really hasn't got his race back on track at all. He's kind of stabilised a little bit. He's not falling further away from the cars in front, but he's not closing up to them. And Fossey's still in 10th, which is a little bit surprising, because he had good pace in the sprint race. So maybe he was just happier on the softs compared to the mediums at the moment. But I would have expected him to make a bit more progress. Could have also been involved in some incidents that we didn't manage to see. Now we've got Arvaxad, Zab, and then we've got Filthy up in 7th. They're kind of equally separated at the moment. Basically on identical fuel as well. Zab's got worse tyre wear than the McLarens. Not too surprising, McLaren's still pretty good on the tyres. And looks like where the fight is going to be. Henners has pulled away from Ellie. Not too much, probably about a second I would say. Hurricane's got a little gap over Ross, and then we've got this, looks like the closest fight at the moment, the fight for 4th. Oh, but Hurricanes have a massive snap. That's going to cost him at least 1 position. Here's Fancy, looks like they're going to get it as well. Yeah, Fancy's all the way through already. Hurricane does manage to pull back in front of Marty though, and Marty's gone too wide. Just getting caught out by the dirty air there, I think. But he doesn't cost him too much time in the end. Could have been a lot worse if he'd lost it and spun. But Ross coming back under threat from Fancy now. Okay, and Henners is in. So that's why he's going flat out. He's probably going for the 2-stop. So we're actually Henners, Ross and Hurricane. So the Audi's probably going for a team strategy, I would say. Got Zab in, Fossey in, and Roscoe's in. So are these guys all going for the 2-stop? It did work in the other tiers, but there were other tiers where it didn't work, obviously. So it really depends on what your pace is like. And Henners has really been flying and has made the most out of going aggressive. Come out on another set of mediums, so he definitely has to pit again because he hasn't used 2 compounds. But he has come out behind Ross. And that's because Ross is putting significantly less fuel and is on the soft tyres now. So they expect him to pull away from Henners even more. So I think Henners is definitely going for a longer middle stint to probably go into softs at the end. So Henners, we have seen the Honda struggle with tyre wear in the previous races. So that must be why he's going for a second medium stint. So did Fossey do the same? He did, but he fueled all the way up. So I'm guessing that he doesn't need to fuel again in his next stop, but going to the full tank when you don't need to is not usually the best strategy. You want to spend as much time on lower fuel as you can. And he was on mediums to start, so he definitely has to pit again as well. So Skycloud's been in, and Gunmad has just been off the track there. But he's doing the 2-stop, and he has at least got someone to aim for, I guess, after his incident with Kanata. But somebody has left. I think that is Morrison. who has left. Yeah, was not having a fun time on the hard tyres. Ross will pick up a second penalty. That was probably, I think that was cutting the inside of that chicane there when he was going for the move. But honestly, with the soft tyres, he could pull big enough gap that he doesn't lose a position to Dougal here. He'll be more bothered about losing the position to Henners. Because he might know that Henners is on the mediums, but he may not. But getting stuck behind Henners on mediums would be really bad for Ross, because he needs to make advantage with his soft tyres while he can. And luckily Dougal is holding up Henners now. So he's going to be able to get past into this corner. He's on the outside, but he's got much fresher tyres, so he might be able to go all the way around the outside here. And no, didn't feel like it was on there. And doesn't decide to go into the next turn either. So is this going to cost a position? It doesn't look like it. It looks like he's managed to hold it. And we've got a couple more guys in, pitting up ahead. Henners still not got past, but it looks like Dougal was going a little bit wide there. Not sure what happened there. Was there some contact between Henners? Yeah, some contact there. Yeah, so Henners trying not to gain the position and Hurricane just not being able to expect that. Henners going on the brakes there. And Hurricane does get the move done. He's also on the soft tyres. So that's actually massive gain in that position over Henners for Hurricane as well. But the Audis will have more fuel to put in at the next stop. So it's not a guarantee, even though they're ahead now, that they will be ahead after the next stop. So let's have a check in with what strategies we're looking at. Fancy, I wonder if these guys are going medium soft and trying the one stop. It is possible. We do need to be good on the tyres. And we did say the McLarens are good on the tyres, and Fancy's pretty much matched them. And he's actually got more fuel than them as well. So, what's the gap looking like? Ooh. It's not impossible that the two-stop could come good by the end. Because the guys in front are on old medium tyres. They've got another couple of laps to go if they want to go... do they have... I'm not sure. I think they do 9 medium, 4 soft. So they have got a couple of laps left on the mediums. Which is going to be massive difference compared to the fresh softs of Ross. And Hurricane, who's just gone wide, didn't cost him too much. Doesn't look like he's going to cost him the position to Henners. So we've got Dougal still out on the mediums as well. Orozco's and Zab are both doing the two-stop. Looks like Zab going for the move on Orozco's. And does look like he's got it done. Yeah, he has. So let's have a check in with... Okay, so these guys... Ellie's going for the two-stop as well. Marty must be going for the two-stop as well, because you can't take softs that far into there. So they're going for a different two-stop strategy. Maybe not confident with how far they can push the soft tyres and having to go one longer on mediums, or they're just reacting to the other cars that came in and did the two-stop as well. But it has cost them at the moment, although Ellie has got a full tank of fuel pretty much, so they will gain a lot in the next pit stop. So it's hard to judge at the moment who's actually come out better in this strategy. Hurricane, ooh, that tyre front left is not looking too good at the moment. How many laps have they done on it? This is the second lap or third lap? I think it's the third lap. So it can get one more definitely. And we've got plenty of fuel as well. Ross tyres looking a lot better than Hurricanes, which we have seen in the previous races as well. Dougal does come in off the medium tyres. With 6 laps left, he's probably going on to the hards. It's a bit late to be going to the 2-stop now, I would say. Roscoe's still sticking right on the back of Zab. Not really close enough to go for the move, just close enough to keep Zab looking behind him a little bit. Roscoe going a bit deep there. Is that going to give Ellie a chance? We do have fresher tyres. And then Roscoe goes wide again. Ellie's surely going to go for the move here on the inside. There's been a really, really off race for Roscoe's. Not sure if he's a bit short on practice or anything like that. Foss is actually struggling as well, which is surprising. I'm not sure, he must have made some mistakes because his teammate is way ahead of him and he's actually coming up to Hurricane. So maybe we've reached the crossover point between the mediums and the softs because we see Hurricane's tyres is really, really worn now. Is Henner's going to be able to get this done around the outside? He has enough, he probably has more than enough grip to do it, but around the outside of that corner, not the easiest move. I would definitely rather be on the inside. Very easy to pick up a track limit penalty on the outside. But it definitely looks like the pace has swung back to Henner's. And Henner's has more fuel as well. So we'll need a little bit less at the next stop. And these guys aren't far from Ross, but they've closed in massively onto the McLarens and Fancy. So I think this is the key point, is do these front three go for one more lap? Or do they come in now? Because I'm not sure how many laps they can make on the soft tyres. If they think they can make them last 5 laps, they can come in this lap. If not, they have to go one more. And they all have the fuel for one more lap if they decide to. Looks like Fancy's coming in this lap. Arvaxad going for... No, Arvaxad is coming in this lap. Ooh, that looked like it might have been close to the pit lane line. Filthy coming in as well, so they're all going for 5 laps on the soft tyres. And Ross had basically covered off that gap. And Ross going for an extra lap compared to Hurricane, who's coming as well. So these are basically in position now. Hurricane is going to come out behind these guys, but I suspect he's going to go on to a set of mediums, because I don't think another set of softs will last for Hurricane. Orozco's coming as well, which is a little bit surprising. He's got fuel and tyres to do one more, I think. Does Hurricane come out of the medium? He does. Hurricane comes out in the mediums. So that's going to be difficult for him to make pro. That was Fossey just going wide there, I think. He's probably just braked way too deep. But we know Fossey will have to come in as well because he's done 2 medium stints. And we know Filthy, Arfaxad and Fancy are all on the softs now, and they're all going to the end, crucially. And they should really be closing in the gap to Ross and Henner's on this lap because they're both on worn tyres. But I think Henner's is actually going to come out ahead of Ross in this pit stop because he's got a lot less fuel to put in, although he has been using a lot more fuel in the race itself. But he does have a little bit of a gap. I think that could be really close, actually. So Zab, this is his second set of medium tyres, and he's still going for one more, at least one more, and he's got a lot of fuel in. Ellie's got pretty much fuel to the end, but does have one more stop to make. Will it be the end of this one, or will he go for one more lap? It'd be interesting to see. Let's have a quick drop down to the back and see how we're going. We've lost somebody else in the race as well. Oh, I think it was Marty. His monitor broke, I think. which is really unfortunate. Because he was actually on for a decent position potentially. We've got Kanata and we've got Dougal fighting out on the hard tyres. Gummad possibly going to the end from here, I'm not sure about that. Not sure whether the tyres will make it or not. I think he might have one more stop to make actually. But we've got these, so these are the guys that have gone medium hard. Kanata, it was a bit unfortunate, got taken out by Gummad at the start of the race. But he's actually right on the back of a Rotskos, although Rotskos should be pulling away on the medium tyres. It shows you how bad the race has gone for Rotskos though. Started on pole and hasn't been taken out, just made his own mistakes, and he's down to 11th at the moment. Then we've got Skycloud, who does need to come in again, looking at the fuel. Probably onto a set of soft tyres, I would guess. I'm not sure if she's been involved in any incidents or not. I'm guessing she has, just because of the position, because she was in the top 10 for pace at least. Okay, so Hennes is going for another lap, but Ross has come in, and where has he come out? Ahead of Fossey? No, just behind. Come on, camera. Yeah, just behind. So that's a bit unfortunate for Ross. You think he's spending the day? That's unfortunate, but it does make sense. Because you have better pace than being a bit of a distant 10th, I think, at the moment. So Ross is going to be wanting to get past Fossey as soon as possible. Try and get the advantage. So all three of the guys that are doing the one-stop medium soft have come out ahead for now, ahead of Ross. But Ross can probably push flat out to the end on the soft, so whereas the guys in front are probably going to have to nurse them a little bit to make sure they don't go fully red. Is Ross going to go for the move here? Surely. He's got to. Can't be waiting anymore. Yeah. Fossey's trying to hold it around the outside, but Ross should have the better traction on the new soft tyres. Yeah, and it does. We've got Hurricane on the medium, so Ellie did close the gap back in, like we expected because of the less fuel. And they are on soft tyres compared to Fossey on old mediums, who I think has to pit against. That's one position, and Hurricane's on mediums as well. So that's potential 2 positions there for Ellie, if they can close into Hurricane. It's doable. It's not far, but at some point the tyres are going to go away from Ellie, and it's going to be Hurricane's favour. Let's jump back up to the front. So we've got these two guys. So we've got Hennes still going. He's got to be coming in this lap. His fuel's low, so he's going to do 3 laps on the soft tyres. And he's been flying. In the 06 is still on the mediums, even though they're at 1. And he's setting personal best at the moment. So Hennes is absolutely flying. We've got Zab on the mediums, who's doing the same as Hennes. Going to be coming in for a really late soft stint. Has a good pace in this last stint. Drops off a bit on the last lap, but still in the 7s compared to 06 for his best. And nice headers in. Does Zab come in this lap? That might be enough fuel to go for one more, but I don't think he'll need to. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. He's coming in this lap onto the soft tyres. So Fancy is going to take the lead of the race back again. And how much of a lead is he going to have? Well, it's currently over Arfaxad, and Fancy actually got slightly better tyres. Hennes does come out in 3rd, just next to Filthy, but he's on fresh tyres. And he does manage to jump Ross, so that is massive. But can Hennes get this move done quickly and not open the door for Ross to get into this fight? Ooh, it looks like he can hold the position at least. Didn't manage to get the move done though. But he's on the freshest tyres. It'll be the biggest difference compared to Filthy. And Hennis can definitely just push flat out now to the end. But it's looking like the one stop is probably the better strategy at the moment, at least for the top three, going medium soft. Not an option for everyone because some of the cars can't do it and some drivers do not have the tyre wear to do that. But Henner's going around the outside, dips a wheel onto the gravel, but he has got the position at the moment and he should be able to hold this and take it on the inside. He does. Is Ross going to be able to capitalise? Looks like he was trying. Yeah, Filthy just got a little bit onto the grass there and that's allowed Ross through. And Ross does have better tyre wear than these guys. So Hurricane's not even dropping back from them either. So Hurricane could still get a top 5 here, because Filthy's tyres are going to be struggling by the end. Ross, I don't think Ross is going to be able to challenge Henner's, unless Henner's makes a mistake. I'll be interested to see if Henner's can gain enough on Arfak's adding essentially 2 laps, or 2.5 laps, to close in that gap. So that is a big gap. It really depends how bad the tyres go off. We've actually got Hurricane pretty close onto the back of Filthy. Ellie's not really making any ground onto Hurricane, I would say. And could come under pressure from Zab, potentially, depending on how the tyres end up going. Because Zab is on brand new fresh soft tyres. Fossey also on fresh soft tyres, but with a half-second penalty. No one behind him to take advantage of it though. Then we've got Kanata. Is that a Rotka's gone? I think guys, a Rotka's gone. I wonder if that's a disconnect or he's made another mistake somewhere and just that is enough for one night. Because it has not been a good race for Rotka's. But these two having a nice little battle. The guy's going for the medium hard strategy. Now, I think this is the most competitive we've seen duel, but got a half-second penalty, which is a bit unfortunate. Arfak's had got the fastest lap of the race. Not sure if that was the last lap or if that's just changed. But yeah, this half-second penalty is going to kind of ruin this little battle. Could bring Skycloud into it a little bit. Yeah, we've got Gunmad who has pit again, so was doing the soft, medium, soft strategy. But he's still running, so still going to get some points for 13th compared to the guys who have left already. So how are the tyres looking? Arfax is looking worse. And let's see, 305.6, 5.5, didn't gain anything on the last lap. Actually, Ellie with the new fastest lap. So if they can keep doing that, is there a chance of catching Hurricane? Maybe, but it looks like Hurricane's going to get this move done on Filthy first. So the guys on the softs who are doing the one stop, we've got 2 more laps to do on these soft tyres. They're going to be really, really low by the end. Obviously Hurricane on the mediums not going to have any issues for tyre wear whatsoever. If they do hit the 50% drop off point though, that could make a huge difference. But Ross isn't pulling away from these two. And if Ross can't pull away, he's actually going to come under threat from his teammate. Maybe not Filthy on the same tyres, but worse wear. But Hurricane could come back at his teammate here. Henner should have this podium sewn up now. Quite comfortably. He's absolutely driven away from the guys behind. Everyone making that corner quite nicely. At least getting close enough to at least have some hope of getting there. Because I mean, if these guys' tyres drop off, they're going to lose chunks of time. So it's not over yet for Ellie. There's still some chance of progress. Hurricanes must have a little bit of a slide out there. It's dropped him a little further off the back of Filthy than he would have liked. Because he's only got 1 lap left. and the tyres are just about holding on. But he needs to be right there because the tyres may only go in this last section of the lap, next lap, and he needs to be there to take advantage of it. His teammates won't drop off that much, obviously doing one lap less on the tyres. Hennes, he's took a huge chunk out of Arfaxad on this lap. So he may catch Arfaxad for second. Is he going to take the fastest lap of the race on this lap as well? Takes that corner nicely, using all the road on the exit. It looks like a good lap. It is to a 3.7. 3.3 seconds. And that gap is less than that. So if he can do the same lap again, or something similar, he can get up to second. Which would be an amazing effort to close that gap in just a couple of laps. Ross possibly just making a mistake earlier because he's pulled away from Filthy now, or Filthy's gone into proper tyre conservation mode to make sure that he gets to the end. And Ellie's actually really closed up onto the back of these two. If I was Hurricane, I would be pestering Filthy in every corner. Just try and put him under as much pressure as possible, trying to make him wear out the tyres faster. Because it's not a guarantee that his tyres will completely die by the end of the race. So is he going to get the run here? Doesn't look like he's that close. But he's going to want to make the move quickly, because if Ellie gets onto the back, it's just going to make it unnecessarily complicated going for the move on Filthy. Filthy having a snap there. Didn't look like it lost him too much. Okay, we're just going to leave this battle because Hennes looked like he was really close to Arfaxad now. Hennes, I doubt he's going to get to Filthy, but Arfaxad's tyres are really, really struggling now. Hennes surely going to be able to go for this move into the next corner. Got so much more grip than Arfaxad. Is Arfaxad going to defend? No. I think he knows it's not worth doing that. The amount he's closed in on him in that last lap is massive. And he's not even far away from going for the lead. But we have missed this move. What happened there? Did Filthy? I guess Filthy must have gone onto the gravel. Yeah, just a little bit. But the release to keep it on the track. And Hurricane's just going to get this easy move down before the chicane. Going to be completely through before they even get there. Filthy's tyres are in the same situation as his teammates. So he is going to come under a lot of pressure from Ellie as well. Although their front left is not looking great either. But honestly, having the better rear tyres is still going to make a difference. Even though it's not the most heavily worn tyre. Doesn't manage to get a good exit there. They are right on the back of Filthy. And Zab's coming into this as well on his really fresh tyres. Is Ellie going around the outside? Looks like he's trying it. And this next corner is where they're really going to feel the tyre disadvantage, because they're both dead or very close to it, and Zab has got so much more grip. Is Zab going to be able to get both of them? Had to put on the brakes a little bit there. Should be able to get Filthy, I would reckon. Just because on the inside he's got so much more grip. But he's not got the inside there. Is he going to go around the outside of Ellie as well? Tries it. He's still got the inside for the next corner. Now going to stick with this battle and we'll go back and watch the leaders cross the line. Zab doesn't go for the move there. So Ellie doing really well to defend that position. And they are going to hold it to the line. So let's go back and watch the leaders as they come across the line. So Fancy, really great feature race. Doing the medium soft strategy, worked out amazingly. Henner's going for the two-stop, worked out, half I said, pretty much on completely dead tyres. Ross, again, solid fourth. Doesn't get the podium. But a fourth will do wonders for his championship anyway. Hurricane not far behind. We've got Ellie holding off to that position ahead of Zab, and Filthy, whose tyres pretty much gave up at the end. Fossey on the fresh tyres, a little bit of a disappointing feature race from him, I would say. Only gained one position after that, after winning the sprint race really comfortably. Got Skycloud, I think, was going for the two-stop as well. She mentioned in the chat having a spin earlier, so a 10th and another one there, but just for fun. But a 10th is still a good recovery after a spin. Kanata as well got involved in the accident with Gunmad. Dougal does come across in 12th, so some good points for that. And Gunmad cruising. Yeah, he's cruising, short shifting, just cruising round to the line. And as he is cruising round to the line, I will check what the standings are after this week's races. Tier 3 blue, there we go. And we've actually had 8 different winners now in 8 different races. And it can sort of tell in the championship there's not huge gaps opening up. So we do have Ross still winning. 2 P4s this week. So again, the consistency paying off massively. Henna's into second on 99 points, 8 points behind Ross. Got Arpaxad 1 point further back than that. So again, pretty consistent. Fancy Locks has kind of thrown his hat in the ring for a championship fight, I would say, with that win. He had some good results. He's been a bit up and down, which you would expect in the Ford. It's kind of, it suits some tracks, doesn't suit others. It's a bit awkward. Then we've got Hurricane in 5th, Marty in 7th after that unfortunate DNF there with his screen not breaking, I think. Then we've got Ellie in 7th, Rotko's in 8th after some really bad couple of races. Missed the race before this at Watkins, just did not have a good race this week here. Didn't miss the qualifying for the sprint race. Didn't manage to just about get 10th. He's classified as 14th, so it must have been a disconnect, I think. Then we've got Filthy in 9th, Zab in 10th, Kanata in 11th, Fossey in 12th, profiting massively from his win there in the sprint race. Skycloud in 13th, which is a little bit surprising that she's down there, because she's had good pace, especially in qualifying. So I think she'd have been hoping for better than that. But I don't think that's particularly representative of her pace. We've got Gunmad in 14th after missing the first and pretty much the first and second race. So, and Nectar only done the first race. Clyde, who had good pace last week, but kind of got murdered a couple of times, I think. Then we've got Frosty, Dougal, and Morrison, who are the reserves, who are just picking up the points out of the back at the moment. But yeah, that is how we're looking. We've got Audi and Ford and McLaren, I think, looking at the Constructors' Championship. Audi with a chunky lead, 33 points. And they're both still getting good results, the Audis. So they're really managing to just be consistent and build up points. And it's going to do them wonders. We're at the halfway point, so anything can still happen. But yeah, that's it from this one. Next week we will be at Lago Maggiore East, which will be an interesting track. I think the Fords are going to struggle. I think the Hondas and the Audis will do well. And what kind of FR cars have we got? I'd expect Marty to be up there, and Skycloud in the Lamborghini. Should do well there. So yeah, should be an interesting one at the next race. But yeah, that's it from me. I will see you guys all next week.